hopefully plan on doing some more of these. Just kind of see how this first time goes, and kind of sharing some good wisdom and some insights just on kind of what I've been going through this year in 2018, and what I'm expecting for next year, and a little on the next 10 years, and how I want to help everybody. Just the things that I've uncovered. So about another 30 seconds, and then we'll get cranking. Yeah, Cobb. Cobb cares. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, we'll get started. So basically, biggest thing I wanted to do now is kind of share everything that I've experienced this year, 2018. It's been the most transformative year of my life. 29 years old, coming up on 30 in May, but I hope to be aging backwards in a way where, age is just a number, and that's kind of how I see that thing. But, it all started a year ago, and I'll try to not blab too far because, some of you that know me, I can really go. But it was last year, right around this time, end of November, December, I guess I had a divine intervention, or you want to call it, where I actually woke up one day. And not many people know this story, but I couldn't really get out of bed. And it was a weird feeling, like a hand was just right on my chest. And, I laid there for probably 3 hours. And, all of a sudden I started having a voice just tell me I needed to learn a bunch of things. And that the things that I were doing in my life weren't serving myself. It wasn't serving others the way I should have. And, growing up, playing basketball and doing so many different things and being an entrepreneur and really helping people. I thought I was doing the things that I was intended to do, but really wasn't. And, some of the things that I'm going to go over, just in general are things that I took this year and wanted to learn it and share it with you now. And, that's a mixture of, diet, with its nutrition, hydration. Obviously, you know me about my water, different basic things of, self-love, appreciation, changing a mindset, practicing good habits, different habits that really I didn't implement before. And, we get caught up so much in a routine that, sometimes it's like getting on that hamster wheel, and you go and you go and you go, and it's never enough. And for me, I kind of hit that rock bottom, as you say, and I was just kind of being told while I was just laying there to start changing things and start making things simpler in my life. And fast forward January, February, March, things were changing a little bit. I changed my diet. That was one of the first things I did, and some of you may know or may not, but I went to a plant-based diet this whole 2018, and it started back in last December. It was a gradual change, and I didn't really go cold turkey on it. Obviously, it was a little bit of a trial and error, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I had a lot of doubts and a lot of fears and a lot of uncertainty that changing my diet that severe would be beneficial, with a little, information and knowledge that I had at the time. Growing up, I've always, thought a high protein diet, high carb diet, chicken breast, eggs, all these different things that, I always thought were beneficial to the human body, just were actually maybe root causes of things that I was dealing with, whether it was anxiety, whether it was stomach issues that I had endured throughout my life. And I never connected those dots. So changing my diet was one of the first things, adopting a plant-based diet, and it's been one of the best decisions of my life, next to the water I choose to drink now. Those two are my foundation. And, fast forward now to April, and I'm sitting in my gym, and my dad, I get that call saying your father has leukemia. And when you get that phone call, it was from my mother, and I was sitting in my gym, And she told me, Chris, your father has acute myeloid leukemia, and he's going to go for treatment right away. It's pretty severe, and when you get that news, a blanket of fear just falls over you, as if everything stops. And at the time, I was fearful. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure what to endure, and it was very scary. But at the same time, in those 4 months, I had connected so many dots, learning about nutrition and what water can do and what other things. And so it was kind of a seesaw in between of, gosh, how much can I control the situation? And, I posted something today on my page about letting go and not being able to control everything, because at that time I wanted to control everything, wanted to make sure he was doing this and that and, this and that. And it caused a lot of confusion and anxiety. But, he went through the treatments. He did chemotherapy and was able to miraculously get into remission within a month. Obviously there's different stages of remission, but just to hear those words within a month of leukemia was powerful. And one of the first things that he did was he really committed to drinking this water, this medical grade, antioxidant rich alkaline water. And that's really kind of what I am very passionate about. And I've been drinking it for about 3 years. And it's, helped me get rid of numerous amount of ailments that I was enduring, even at 26 years old, thinking you're just invincible, but not so much. And so I had done a lot of research, reading, different books. I read more books this year, more books, audiobooks, podcasts, blogs, journals, scientific reviews than probably I have in 20 something years of education. And it became not an addiction, but I needed to learn more because I didn't know anything. And I think that kind of mindset allows us to expand our reality and expand our thinking and our ability to connect our dots, because we all have our own perspectives. I see things maybe a different way than someone else on here may see. So it was a powerful wake-up call for me. Not sick, you're thirsty. These are hundreds of pages of information and just on a topic about water, healing waters. But I really committed to finding a way to help my dad give him the best chance he could. And, a lot of people close to me know this kind of story, but a lot of people don't. And that's why I want to share this, because it's not only did I want to help him and I saw it work with him, now I want to help others. And before it was, an opportunity to change the water. Now for me, it's an obligation. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. So seeing him, improve as he did in that time was very powerful. And, the people that were really close to me, my family and friends that were able to support us. And he has such a large outreach. And I don't think he still knows how many people he impacts and he inspires. But, it was a rough time, but at the same time, I had to stay grounded. And I had to realize that, I just had to do whatever I could to make him feel better. So just some of the stuff I'm going to share real quick here. Again, it's stuff I learned, and I hope it can just kind of spark some kind of interest in you guys and some kind of excitement to go and better yourself, and to say, gosh, I'm having XYZ ailments or mental things, or I just can't get this right. It's okay. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I need to improve. And, we get caught up in society and expectations and what the person next to us is doing and trying to do this and that. And we forget to kind of go inward sometimes. And when you get that call, it's a wake up call, and it made me go inward, and I had to stop everything. I've kind of given up drinking. I've given up, obviously eating, animal products and all kinds of sorts, not only for my health, for the environment. There's just so many environmental factors that goes on with it that I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I was just never educated about it. And it's just kind of always been what I've been seeing or what I've been told, but I had to go learn it myself. And then also just for animals, I'm a compassionate guy. I cared, but now I really care about everything. And it's a universal care. And I think compassion, love, and gratitude, those three things are things that we're missing in this kind of world again. It's hard to not see it because of, the media. Social media can be your greatest tool for learning and for expanding, but it can also be your greatest burden. If you're constantly, following things that don't benefit you, if it's bringing negativity in your life, because those are just programmed over and over, kind of in that subconscious that I'll kind of touch on in a second, that I had no idea about. Yeah, I really didn't. I had no idea what that meant until I had to learn. So helping my dad get through that and see him progress just by simply changing his water was very powerful. And it was hard for me to see, others that were struggling in the hospital. And when you start learning things that can help someone and seeing other things that people are going through, and again, you want to try to help everybody, but you have to just stay grounded and know that you have to trust that things are going to work out. Obviously one of the biggest things I mentioned was changing my diet. And this book, there's a few books I recommend, the water books, but this guy, if any of you want to get to know a little bit more about yourself, and I spell that CELLPH, your cells pH, because that's really what we are. We're billions of cells put together in the form of tissue, bones, organs, and all those things. And when you understand that, you kind of get a good idea. But I got notes and pages and pages. And when you spend, I want to say 80 days in a hospital, being with my father, my mother, my sister, and those who came and visited, and Jilly, my now girlfriend, who I love dearly. She was just been a rock for me, and she's been there my whole life, and she's been a mentor for me and a business partner. But just this year, she was there to hold my hand and kind of give me a shoulder when I needed it, and she was there. And I thank her forever and from the bottom of my heart, and I truly do love her and care about her. But it's just incredible what simply changing your food can do, and that's why I want to keep expanding that knowledge and sharing that with you. But he did practice a lot of these principles that I read in here. He didn't really know. He was kind of resting to sleep a lot, but every time he woke up, he said, "What are you reading now? What are you reading now?" And it was just a different book every day. And so these are some of the other books that I always like to read. Alkaline Plant-Based Diet. This is another good one. The Green Foods Bible, Dave Sandoval. And I got involved with a company called Purium that you may have seen me post a few times. It's just, a green-based superfood company, farm to family manufacturer, just awesome in what they provide. Actually just got this one in the mail. It's pretty cool. Someone who's learning how to make better food and things like that. And again, another good one, The Healing System. So, I've read all these books, and the list keeps going on. And another one, the toxin that came to dinner, talks about glyphosate, just something we got to be aware of in society, because so many of these ailments that we're going through stem from some root cause, whether it's dehydration at the cellular level, whether it's overcoming an acidic diet, acid forming diet, high mucus in your diet. And a lot of us maybe have never heard these words. And, I never heard these words, and it just piqued my curiosity to go share. This is kind of one of my favorite ones. Of course, the title. No, I did not write this. It's Chris Warwick, not me. But I think it's just pretty incredible that it's just the same name, and Chris Beats Cancer, that I was able to help my dad overcome this. And now he actually is doing great now. I didn't even update you guys. He's doing great now. I know a lot of you reach out to me. He did the chemo and the transplant, and got everything finished and handled. And honestly, he was out in record time. That's even another live I can even go through, where after he had it, he was actually supposed to be in the hospital for about 6 weeks post-transplant, and he left in 6 days because his counts skyrocketed so high after changing his water and eating more of a plant-based diet. And I would make him green juices. He would take CBD, which is another topic. All we ate really for the first 4 to 5 days after his release was fruit. It was fruit, and fruit gets a bad rap sometimes for being high in sugar, but it's actually the number one food we need to eat as humans. And again, there's so many different details that I'm going to be excited to share on what I've recovered. discovered with that. But this book is very powerful. Chris beat cancer. He actually just used natural remedies to overcome what he did, and it's pretty powerful when you see the ability of food can heal someone and get someone through something very drastic. So just the things I mentioned, I always say, go research and learn, for yourself. Don't believe me. If you're looking for someone with a PhD, I don't have one. If you're looking for someone with 10 certificates, I don't have one. I have experience, I have intuition, I have curiosity, I have open mindfulness, I have gratitude. I have a lot of traits that, sometimes we overlook as being very powerful, and just seeing it kind of work for me and work for my family and those around me. And, I'm starting to get more kind of people reaching out saying, what are you doing? Or what are you sharing? And that's why I kind of wanted to do this. So that's pretty important. Another thing I learned was fasting, and it was pretty incredible. Another story. In short, I just give you little spark notes, because there's so much for this year that happened, and now's the time to share. But the first time I really did a fast was for 55 hours. Knowing me, if you knew me growing up, I was a garbage disposal. I would eat anything and everything in sight. I would, to a point where, there's leftovers, well, Cobb's going to eat it. And this fast wasn't by choice. It was actually accidental. I was with my father the second week in the hospital, and he actually had a rough night, and I stayed there for 24 hours straight. And then I just didn't want to leave him. And I stayed another 24 hours, and I didn't want to leave him. And the next day, my mom comes, and she said, have you eaten yet? And I said, no, but I feel incredible. And that just, boom, another sparked interest. What is fasting? What does that do? Intermittent fasting. And it's just so highly beneficial. So now, my daily routine kind of summarizes, I don't eat any kind of solid foods till the afternoon. And I usually have 1 or 2 meals a day. And usually anything I do have, if it is in the morning, it's either liquids in the form of green drinks, superfood smoothies, or it's just raw fruit. And you guys probably see my post about fruit. And that, again, the body just can process and do with so much more good with fruit and just simple nutrients. Before noon, used to have about 1,000 calories down. Now it's maybe about 100 or 200. And yet my energy is through the roof. And my whole biggest principle is less is more. And I think that's really a good mantra for me. Again, these are things that work for me. And these are things that I've discovered and I wanted to share, because each one of you have something that's going to work for you. And you got to just kind of find that, and don't feel like you got to get, lost and this and that. But, what's up, boys? Hey, Jeeves. My bad. I just kind of going. Get back to practice. Go get another 30 ball. My guy Chris out in Malaysia, balling it up, Malaysia Dragons. So he's my guy, and he's been a brother my whole life. So love you too, bud. Thanks for checking in. Go get some buckets. Much love. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So that kind of all happened, and that fasting was piquing my interest, and it was incredible to see kind of how my body just started cleansing in 2 days, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Again, another wormhole. So that was that. Another thing I learned was I've never meditated. And again, we talk about it, we say it, and we maybe read about it and learn about it, but we don't actually do it. And a lot of times people just don't know what to do. And a good way I started was an app called Headspace. It's a simple app. A guy named Andy just kind of walks you through a guided meditation for 5 minutes. And, it's all about repetition, creating a habit, creating something that works for you, finding that niche for yourself that you get excited to do. And, I get excited now to wake up every morning and practice some form of meditation. There's all kinds of different ways, just being with yourself. And a lot of times I think maybe some people are scared to be alone and with themselves because, maybe it's boring or maybe it's lonely, but it isn't, because a good quote I've always read is, the moment you lift your head up off the pillow, you have everything you need. And I think that's very powerful and very true, because at the end of the day, even right now, I'm all by myself, but I got you guys here. And I know that, and I'm happy to share this with you. But meditation has been huge for me. Another thing that I implemented also was sound healing. Again, what is this? What the heck is sound healing? Some of you, maybe have never heard that. Neither have I. It's okay. Neither have I. I didn't even know it existed. And it's actually sound that is tuned to a frequency that actually can soothe your mind. And, more studies have shown that it can go in there and help rebuild, whether cellular damage, lessen anxiety. And again, my dad didn't really know what was going on, and he'd always ask, play your music. And, I didn't really know what to think when I started playing it, but it was a certain frequency that I played from the hospital that kept him at ease when he couldn't fall asleep. And he just, within a few minutes, lights out, and he was snoring. So we do sound healing now. Me and my group that I live with, it's called the Wake Tribe. We kind of, it's a community we put together just to help people get better. And you've probably seen me share a little bit, and I'm going to be sharing more again. I'm giving you slow little breadcrumbs because I don't want to overload so much. And I know I'm already rambling, but I just get excited to help people. We do it every Wednesday in Costa Mesa. Direct message me privately or text message me. We'd love to have you. And you just literally just come, chill, and you lay down, and we have all kinds of different tunes and instruments that we play. And you just, for 30 minutes, just kind of decompress from the day and heal yourself. And you just feel so much better afterwards. So let me know about that if you want to do that. Another thing I practice is deep breathing. Again, another good quote I love using. We breathe 24/7. Obviously, that's how we live, but we forget to breathe. And there's been scientific studies and testimonials and all kinds of things proven that just shortness of breath causes a multitude of ailments in the human body because we lack oxygen. That oxygen doesn't get to our brain, doesn't get to our heart and our lungs to circulate the blood, to transport nutrients, and it's kind of like that snowball effect. So deep breathing and intentional breathing is something that I practice now. And a guy that I really learned it from, and not learned from, but just helped me explore it, was a guy named Wim Hof. I've never met him, but you can search him on Instagram or Google. He's a guy that has set multiple records. He climbed Mount Everest in his shorts. He set 26 world records for the most time under ice cold water. He basically did things that you never thought the human body could do. So it was pretty powerful. And his biggest number one thing was going into your breath. And, there's so much space in our body that our oxygen can be stored. Sometimes we think that this is breathing. And in about 10 seconds, we can't even hold our breath. But after over and over deep breathing, you realize you can go a few minutes without breathing. And I've done it many times, and it's mind-blowing. And that's another practice I did. And again, I do this with my father as well. And, I'm implementing it with some of my other close friends and business partners and whatnot. So it's very powerful, but I'll be sharing more of that too. And, seeing all these things come together, and there's so many little different formulas, and hopefully one of these work for you. I don't know. Like I said, I don't expect you to do all of them, none of them whatsoever. But give them a try. Message me, text me, call me. I am an open book, no pun intended. Like I don't feel like I have to, hide things or anymore, or just keep it to myself. But it's a formula that I've found to really, raise my frequency, raise my vibe, my consciousness, and, things become more clear and things don't get under my skin as much, and I'm able to withstand pressures. And what's good, Colton? What's going on? Thanks for joining. Just dropping some gems here, some wisdom. I just put it all together, and I'm kind of putting the plan, and that's what I want to make, is a plan for you all. Again, a guideline, not a set plan. I don't want you to just be run by something. I want you to choose something. We all have choices, and that's going to be my plan, is the COB plan, the Come Out Better, COB. That's where it all clicked for me. And that name has been given to me since my friend, since I was in kindergarten, Jordan Watanabe, who I miss all the time. I hear that name, I think of him, and he's no longer here with us, but I know he is. He's right next to me, so he's all good. He's all good. But I hope to put together all that plan for you guys eventually, and have my own website up and running pretty soon, where you can get all kinds of tidbits and gems, and just keep sharing the love as well. And another thing I learned this year, a good mentor of mine, Nick Palacios, he's not on this, but he was kind of showing me how to do a startup business, and we're together, kind of putting together hopefully a athlete featured plant-based oriented CBD company. And it's in the works, but he's teaching me so much. And, I didn't even know what CBD is, and the endocannabinoid system. And it's another live we can go through another time, but I just urge you to educate. And a lot of things that people deal with are lack of, it's called homeostasis, and an imbalance in the body. And when you're not balanced, we're like a seesaw. We're constantly up and down, and that seems like people feel like life is like that. But for me, after what I went through this year, CBD was allowed me to stay right here and able to give me clear decisions, kind of stay grounded and trust that things are going to be okay. So that was pretty powerful for me as well. And obviously, about my water, I didn't really touch too much on that at the beginning, but this water's been everything to me. Again, I've got more knowledge and information in this head and this body about water than I think I should have even known. And a big part of that was again, Jilly showing me this water 4 years ago almost. And it took me 8 months to even take a sip. I kid you not, even take a sip. I was so stubborn and so egotistical that I thought my Brita water was going to work for me. And I was dealing with about 10 different ailments, and understanding that not all water is the same was kind of an eye-opening experience for me. And so, I wanted to learn more and dive into it more. And now I share this water with people, and I've, helped over, gosh, I don't even know how many people, just from neurological damage to stomach issues, anxiety, all these different things. And, it's not the water that always does this. We have the ability to, I don't want to say heal, but to make ourselves better. And this water gives us that vehicle, because that's what we are. And when you have water that hydrates you at the cellular level, it is naturally alkaline with antioxidants that can cross the blood-brain barrier. And when you realize all the things we're putting in our body are highly acidic, full of contaminants, toxins, free radicals, all kinds of different plastics. And, plastic's such a crisis now, and it's everywhere. You see it in oceans, landfills, and it's not stopping. And, I haven't bought a plastic bottle in 4 years. I carry around a big glass bottle, and, for me, I got a little sticker on compassion on it just to remind me every day, and to not only care about others, but about this world, because shoot, I want kids one day. I want to be able to travel the world and things like that. And I can't, if I don't do my part. And I think if each one of us step in and do our own part, we can make a change, because I used to think otherwise. Oh, if I change this, nothing's going to matter. If I stop eating this certain food, that's not going to matter. If I do this, that's not going to, but it's starting to, because it's the snowball effect. And that's the beauty of this company, Enagic, and that outreach that has, it's about healing and helping yourself, but also reaching out and helping others as well as this planet. And those three things of love, compassion, and gratitude, again, is what I practice every day. And that's all I want to practice for the rest of my life. So that was very powerful. Last couple of things, again, I know it's so much, but I'm trying to compress it all into a little live for you. It's been fitness, and also another thing called neuromuscular release therapy that I actually came across this year. A man named Kevin Isaac. Jilly again introduced me to him. Gosh, she's introduced me to everything. God bless her. I love her to death. He actually taught me that there's certain ways to reset your nervous system, and the nervous system is king. You see me some posts about it, and I'm going to share more and more each day. The nervous system governs everything, from the muscle contractions to your lungs breathing to your tummy digesting. We are run by this thing called the vagus nerve. Not Las Vegas. No, not Las Vegas. The VAGUS, the vagus nerve. And again, after I got treatment done, I was dealing with, multiple things. When I blew my ACL out, I had a lot of nerve issues down there. Gone. I broke my collarbone in high school. Nerve issues down there. Gone. I've always had an imbalance certain places, and not only body, but mentally. We forget the nervous system stores emotions. So you can imagine the emotions I've had trapped in my whole life, from basketball and competing, and, trial and error, financial difficulties, setbacks, even childhood. We forget that the first 5 years of your life, you're getting programmed into that subconscious mind. And it's like a recording device. Even when you're in the womb of your mother, your things are recording and downloading, and you're getting that subconscious going to a point where, if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you're set in these ways, not because of choice. It's what your nervous system has downloaded, just like downloading, information to our iPhones. Just think of it as a cloud, and then coming down to your iPhones, it's all there. We just aren't aware of it. And when you pay attention to it and you realize that these traumas and feelings and thoughts are stored in that nervous system, it kind of gives you a sense of, okay, I'm aware of this now. How can we fix this? And understanding that nervous system allowed me to kick more dots of, the body being electric. And yet another book I have read, I'm almost finished, just talks about literally the body's ability to regenerate, how the body works, what it's meant to do, what foods the body is meant to eat. That's very important. And when you put it together, if you think about it now, all the things I'm covering, let's see, plant-based foods, it's the electric alkaline diet. So I try to eat as many foods with electricity in it. What the heck is that? No, you don't plug the food in the light socket. There's a thing called angstroms that actually, shows there's electrical power in food. And when you give that food into you, it's called the life force. And, that's really my big premise of how I build muscle in the weight room, how I keep fat off, how I keep my blood clean, how my nervous system thrives is just through electricity. And so you have electric food, and now you have electric water in the Kangen water. You have a reset nervous system. You have deep breathing, which stimulates electricity through the lungs. You have sound healing, again, that creates an electromagnetic frequency. And now you're putting all these things together. It's like, whoa, my gosh, this makes sense. And that's what made sense for me this year. And so those are kind of my core 4 things that you probably have seen on my page that I posted the other week was the hydrate, detox, whatever you accumulate, whatever you don't eliminate, you accumulate. And that's where a host of ailments come. The third one was alkalize, turning into an alkaline diet, alkaline water, all these different things, and then electrify. So those are my core 4. And so I'm also going to dive into this book again. I'm going all in, just because I feel like I have a calling to help as many people as I can. So, that's kind of it. That's a lot to share, and I wanted to share it all, but not too much. But each little topic I want to start sharing one by one. And like I said, educate yourself, learn more, take 30 minutes out of your day, whether it's early in the morning, late in the afternoon, on your coffee break. If you are on social media, I used to do it all the time and just aimlessly scrolling. Use it for information. Look for accounts that are uplifting. Look for accounts that will give you a did you know. But also, when you do find those, go research it yourself. Don't feel like you're just now being told a different thing. Just learn, and things like that. So just always be conscious of your decisions, your choices. Understand that whatever you're doing, we all have choices every day, and those turn into our reality. And next thing you know, you got to make sure you're taking the right choices. But education is key. So thanks for kind of paying attention, for staying with me as best you could. Hopefully you took some notes, and if you do have any questions, just reach out to me. Like I said, I'm an open book. Again, literally open book. Text me, call me, shoot me a DM. Come on over. I'll give you some water. I'll show you some stuff I eat. I'm here to help. That's just what it's all about. If we all have that compassionate mindset of helping each other, whether karma, whatever you want to call it, it comes back to you. And just showing gratitude is another thing. I don't think I've said thank you more this year than I have in my life, or even the word love. And as masculine as a guy I thought I was, just being open and just wanting to help others is just as masculine as anything else. It's just, you just find that balance of the masculine, feminine kind of deal. And that's just another thing that I learned as well. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer now. I think I got a couple up there. Any tips on dairy? I've cut dairy out completely. There's a multitude of things that, the body can't really absorb dairy. It's just what it is. And there was a campaign, of the Got Milk campaign, and a lot of things that started years ago ago that put dairy in a, drink this for strong bones. And, growing up, I used to drink a ton of it. Did I get bigger? Yes, I did. But I remember I had a lot of mucus, which is the number one thing. If you're consuming dairy, a lot of mucus is built up in the body. And again, that goes kind of over it in this one, Mucusless Diet, the healing system. And it kind of explains in depth kind of how dairy impacts the human body. And, it actually, instead of giving yourself calcium, believe it or not, dairy leaches calcium from our bones. Why? Because dairy is highly acidic, so in order to combat it and to make it more alkaline again, it actually has to take calcium from you as a shield. Takes calcium from you to prevent acidic buildup from something that was supposed to give you calcium. So just those dots you connect, it's just like, okay, interesting. Maybe I'll try almond milk. Go for it. See how you feel. Again, don't listen to me. Try it, learn it, explore it. But yeah, as far as dairy goes, there's a multitude of factors that I've come across, increasing certain hormone that leads to ailments and disease, and highly inflammatory, highly mucus forming, acidic, and just understanding what those are, just, it's tough. But so yeah, if anybody have any other questions currently right now, there's a lot of people on here. Holy moly, I'm going to actually go through and just say hi to everybody, because I missed everybody, and I'm learning how to do this kind of live thing, but I'm getting better at it. But Sam, Mandy, Devin, Drew, Brian, Jilly, Raul, Hannah, it keeps going.